Hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day, whether you are 5 hours away or a day away. Remember, I love you. Okay, so I want to talk about the end of 2019 and our pageant winners happening to all be black. And I just want to say, although I am very excited for Miss Universe, South Africa, I believe Miss World, who I believe may be Jamaican, of Jamaican and Indo descent, and Miss France, or a woman from France who is in another pageant, and a couple of other pageant winners, including Miss Teen USA. I am very excited about that. And there are a lot of people who have been talking about how for centuries we've been confined to European beauty standards, where black women, especially brown and dark-skinned women, have typically not been put on a pedestal for beauty. Originally, beauty pageants were created to reinforce European beauty standards. Even so, they had women who were of black ancestry disqualified from pageants because they believed that their blackness made them inferior. So if you were an eighth black, you were disqualified, and they did DNA tests. They made sure that pure white people, quote unquote, were only in these pageants. So it didn't matter if you look like Mariah Carey or if you look like the whitest white woman ever. If you had any type of black ancestry, you were disqualified, because the whole point of pageants were to reinforce racist beauty standards, promoting thinness, promoting whiteness, promoting pale skin, promoting straight hair, promoting features that align with European beauty standards: straight nose, small lips, thin hips, all of that. So now we are in 2019, we are going into 2020, where we are seeing black women of various hues and various admixtures being deemed beautiful, world beauty. And I'm very excited, but I also feel as if there may be a couple of people who want to come out the woodwork and be intellectually dishonest and to say, see, I told you black women were beautiful. We are the standard of beauty. Black women are the standard of beauty. I've seen a couple of people say that. I don't want people to take this as a universal win. There's still racism happening. Just because black women are deemed beautiful by white merits does not mean that misogyny, which is discrimination against black women, will not still exist. I don't want people looking at this to say, okay, we've moved up. Okay, black women are beautiful now, so we don't have to worry about being discriminated against when it comes to our looks, when it comes to our hair texture, when it comes to how we wear our hair, or how we dress, or how our features appear. Okay, because a couple of weeks ago, I went to one of my favorite boutiques and I was trying on a couple of clothes. So one of the women that works there said that she wanted to take a couple of my pictures, and she wanted to have me model some of the store's clothing so she can tag me on the page and they can post my pictures online to model. So I said, sure. I did it. I got a 30% discount. Well, I've never seen the pictures. I guess they must have decided to not use my pictures. They used another woman's pictures with the same clothes. And my mom felt, well, it's probably because, you know, you were too ethnic, because there's only one black girl and she's light-skinned with very fine curly hair. And the thing is, she is quick to try and say, well, the reason why she's getting all this attention isn't because she's light-skinned or isn't because she's mixed. It's just because she's pretty. My mom likes to kind of deny stuff like that, because I know back in her day, she had men fawn over her and call her things like red bone or yellow bone. She's so offended when I speak of colorism and beauty standards, because she was one of those women that got praised for her being light-skinned. And she has talked about it before. And she likes to act as if I don't really see myself as light-skinned. And, you know, I'm no lighter than you are. You know, I'm not really light-skinned. Light-skinned is like Halle Berry or Beyonce or Vanessa Williams. I'm not really in the light-skinned ballpark, but it's obvious that my mom is a little bit offended when I speak on it, just because she feels that I am talking about her, and she feels that she can't really control what men say about her looks. And my thing is, this is not 1980, okay? You are not in college, okay? You need to stop going back to that time and realize that these things still happen today. You can't say, oh, well, people saying black women are ugly happened 70 years ago during Gone with the Wind days when they had Hattie McDaniel play a maid. You can't say that. You can't act as if the concept of being black and ugly is something that was in the early 1900s, like in the movie The Color Purple. My mom loves to say things like, well, you're holding yourself back. That's not happening today. No one is just going to say that you're ugly just because you got dark skin, or because your nose is wide, or because your hair is too kinky, or you got braids, or because you're black. Like, my mom just does not believe that, because she feels that in this day and age, it is absurd. She feels that this is the new age. We're not in a time where black people aren't represented at all. We are in a time where we are seeing Beyonce, we are seeing Halle Berry, we are seeing Angela Bassett, we are seeing all types of black women in the media, even though that it is scarce representation. And now people are looking at Miss Universe and Miss World, Miss Friends, all of these black pageant winners as saying, hey, black women are beautiful. People do see black women as beautiful. There's nothing to worry about. And one thing that kind of makes me mad is that one of the men that I had some type of thing with last year went on his Instagram and Twitter and talked about the winners. And he said that he was so glad that his daughter, or not his daughter, his niece, was able to see that she's beautiful in the skin that she is in, after trying to make it like I was insecure and absurd for suggesting that he probably did not like black women, because all the women he seems to follow all have that one look, very light skinned, if they are black at all, or very loose curls, mixed race, and other white women or non-black women of color. But then all of a sudden he's posting pictures of all of these winners and posting a picture of his niece and saying, I'm so happy that now my niece can feel beautiful in the skin that she is and can grow up seeing women that look like her. But my thing is, then why did you try to make it like I was crazy and insecure for suggesting that you probably didn't like black women because you thought that they were ugly, because you knew what I was talking about? Even if that did not apply to you, you try to make it like I was insecure to even suggest that I'm called ugly because of the color of my skin or because I am a black woman. And then you try to act like I was insecure with my own hair texture when I said that I did not want to get my hair wet last year because I just got my hair braided. So if I were to get my hair wet, then it would mess up the whole look because it would make it frizzy. And you try to make it like, oh, well, you're just another black woman who's so concerned about her looks and her hair. But black men are aware about beauty standards affecting black women, not just on a vanity level, but on a physical and psychological level, to the point where you are worried about how your nieces are going to grow up. You are worried about how your daughters are going to grow up, because you know that it's not just like, I'm not pretty enough. Oh my God, is my butt big enough? Oh my God, I just don't like my skin. Like, y'all treat it like that. But then when it comes to something like this, you worry about how your daughters are going to feel. You worry about how your nieces or cousins or sisters are going to feel, because you know that it's not just vanity, but you pretend that it is for women because you like to gaslight us to try to absolve yourself of responsibility of making women within your own age group feel that way, because you're concerned about your niece. You're concerned about your daughter. And it's very telling how men in particular don't seem to care about how adult women in their age group feel, because a lot of times they are the main ones who are interacting with these women and making them feel all types of ways and treating them all types of ways. But then when it comes to their nieces and daughters, you understand how misogyny works. You understand how anti-blackness works. You understand how colorism and texturism works. You understand all of these things. So obviously, a lot of people who are now writing think pieces on Miss Universe and how beauty standards are now becoming obsolete with the whole thick being in, big lips, you know, ethnic features, blackfishing, all of that. Now people feel as if, okay, we don't have to worry about Eurocentric beauty standards anymore. No, because what you don't seem to realize is that these features only started becoming attractive once people like Kim Kardashian and white or lighter skinned women started representing themselves as having the same features that were associated as black, dark, and ugly. People don't realize that. And I just want to have an honest dialogue about beauty standards, just because it seems people just don't want to confront their own biases when it comes to who they find attractive. As someone who doesn't really care who talks to me, as long as I have great chemistry with them and they are attractive in themselves, I see the type of people others go for. When we talk about celebrities such as Georgia Smith or Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Halle Berry, Lauren London, we all know that these people have a very uniform look. If they are black, and visibly so, typically they are light skinned or a very light brown complexion, no lighter than a paper bag. They have very fine hair, or they have weave that is straight, or they may have a slender nose. They may look like they could possibly be mixed with something else, such as white or Asian. There's no telling who's mixed with what. But what we're saying is it's very uniformed with how people perceive beautiful women. And to say, oh, well, it's just because she's beautiful that we like her, you're not confronting the fact that all of the women or men that you find attractive look similar. Slim noses, slim figures, loose curls, straight hair, light skin, possibly white, half white, mixed race. If they are black at all, they're probably mixed. Or they probably have a non-black parent, where you can obviously tell that the person has non-black ancestry just by their features. Because even though you cannot always tell what someone is by how they look, a lot of times you can look at someone and just know where they come from. Just like the guy I talked about in the last video, who I instantly knew was East African, and I thought in my head he's probably Somali, and it turned out he was, in addition to Ethiopian. There's times where you can tell. People have a trained eye where they can look at someone and say, okay, they're probably Dominican, they're probably from this culture, and they are right. Because there are certain features that are common in groups and it may be common in others. So we're not going to get into the semantics of, well, you can look like this and still be 100% black or 100% indigenous, blah, 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 blah. We know. But typically when we are talking about beautiful and attractive black people, they are typically those who look like they have very recent admixture in them. Such as Beyonce, a very beautiful woman, but a lot of people look at her and think, okay, well, she's probably European in some way. And in my opinion, Beyonce looks very black. It's just she may have a straight nose and she may be lighter skin. But to me, Beyonce looks like a lot of the women in my family. She just, you know, she's Beyonce, of course, but I don't think Beyonce looks any different than a lot of light-skinned Southern women that I surround myself with in my family on my mom's side. But as I will keep on saying, I think we do need to confront how we consider certain people beautiful and how we consider certain people ugly. I'm not saying go out with someone that is completely hideous, but it doesn't make sense for one person to say Georgia is pretty and Megan is ugly, because that doesn't make sense. Both can be attractive, but in different ways. You can't say, well, Georgia looks better than Megan, because that is a fallacy. I don't believe that one can look better than the other. You can prefer someone over the other. You can say both women are beautiful. I prefer Georgia. That is completely fine. But to pretend as if one is inferior to another or one is superior to another is to admit bias. It is to admit that in your mind, your ideal of beautiful is to have certain features. And that is typically light skin, straight hair, blonde hair, or, you know, dark hair that may be associated with being, you know, brunette and having straight black hair, or having a slender nose, having a thin body figure, all of that. And I mean, that's okay if you like that type of person, but please don't project it onto everybody else. Please don't sit there and try to shove it down people's throats that this is how people should look, and bruh, like, she's so beautiful and no one can compare to her. And you know, men love to use other women to control women. They like to try to make women fit into a box of how they should be as a woman, kind of like a Stepford Wives. I feel if it were up to a lot of men, we would all look like Georgia Smith, or we would all look like Kim Kardashian. We would all be light-skinned with straight black hair and slender noses, okay? Like, let's keep it real. And ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody trying to look the same, okay? Because anybody with common sense would know that we are all beautiful in our own way, and we can still pull niggers, or we can still pull bitches. But it's the fact that a lot of us grow up and seeing that people that look like us aren't seen as beautiful. And it's not something as simple as, well, people just don't find you attractive. We're talking about features. We're talking about our hair. We are talking about body types. Yes, there are people who may not be so attractive physically. Yes, there may be people who may be attractive physically. But what we are talking about are features. We are talking about race. We are talking about phenotype. And who do we see as typically attractive on television or on social media? White people, light-skinned people, if they are POC. It's not rocket science. I don't want to go on for too long, but I hope I got my point across. And I want everybody to take it easy, have a safe holidays, you know, don't spend too much, have a great time, don't get drunk off an eggnog, and make sure that you just appreciate your family and friends and get into the holiday spirit.